okay? Dutch diseases. What is Dutch diseases? Dutch diseases is when one sector, one industry dominate in one country or in one area, the rest of the sectors will be decline. Okay, so that's called Dutch diseases. It's happened from the history of Netherlands. Come from they found the oil in North Sea, and turn out the oil industry dominate the Netherlands, and the rest of the industry decline. So what does that mean? Or meaning for your career? Take a look this slide. This 3 years ago, the Tianxia magazine in Taiwan talk about TSMC Dutch diseases. We know Taiwan dominate semiconductor manufacture. When semiconductor dominate in Taiwan, the rest of the sector decline, lost a lot of jobs. Only semiconductor dominate in Taiwan. So Taiwan have TSMC Dutch diseases. So you can take a look at this slide. In the past 12 months, Silicon Valley lost almost 80,000 jobs. Okay, so you confront a lot of good challenges from the trend of AI innovation and renovation. So Silicon Valley have Dutch diseases. AI will dominate all the renovation and innovation for tech industry, and turn out the rest of the industry will be declining. So AI diseases. So for your career, in the following 1 to 3 years or 5 years, you have to prepare yourself, either transform yourself or upgrade yourself. Okay, the AI speed will be very, very fast. P equal to MV. If the AI stock price moving up because the quality M increase the profit, so V have to be fast. So AI speed will be faster, accelerated more than you think. So you have to prepare yourself. The following 10 years, AI of thing will grow up 6 times in 10 years. So AIoT application of AI will be next trend. Okay, so this is my prayers for your career. Take a look this slide. If you can take a picture of this, the job model for tech industry will be this 3 subsector: SaaS, okay, software as a services. Then the second one would be platform as a services. The last one would be infrastructure, would be as a services. This is the job model for your tech industry, okay? And turn out, you can tell the job model is pyramid, but the profit distribution will be reserve pyramid, okay? You will have a high pay from software, but less job, okay? Platform as a services usually have a 50% of gross profit margin, okay? And the least one, profit margin would be infrastructure as a services, but IaaS have more job. So if you would like to pursue higher paid job on the software, but it's more competitive. So because job allocation dominate profit distribution. So overall, profit margin dominate your salary. 90% gross profit margin will be NVIDIA, ARM. ARM will be almost 100% profit margin. CRM, Meta, Microsoft. Okay, so they have a good pay, but less job on the software. Platform will be Amazon, Netflix, Apple, AMD. The profit margin will be about 50%. Okay, the more job, IaaS, but less pay, Intel, Dell, or HP, because profit margin dominate your salary and also your job allocation. So my prayer, the last slide, will be you need some help, and cloud can provide GPS for you, guidance, your career vision, and also transformation, upgrade your skill and inner part in your marketplace. And hopefully, may the Lord help you out to transform yourself in this tough time and good opportunity. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Howard, for bringing up a couple of a new concept here. I also learned a lot myself. And so here I would like to pose and share this with our audience here today. Do you see the AI Dutch disease, as Howard pointed out? That for those of us in the tech industry, we heard about AIoT is used to be talking about Internet of Things with artificial intelligence. And I'm glad to hear how I mentioned AIoT now becomes AI of Things. All right, so I really like it. And number three, think about your job, not just your job, but where your job sits in the whole ecosystem. And from the economic perspective, what does it mean? So this is very awesome. So if you have any questions, I encourage you to raise and put on the chat box, or you prefer later, you can do it verbally too. Prefer you put down the chat box first. So next, I'm going to ask David to share with us. Now you know the company you want to pick, but we all know the best way to get into the company could be through referral. So the most effective way to through referral is you got to have somebody who know you. So network. So we're going to ask David to talk about what is network and what's the right mindset about that. So David, stage is yours.
Thank you. So let me share my PowerPoint. Okay. What is this? Okay, can you all see this? Okay, so my topic will be build professional network. So let me, there's a simple introduction. Okay. Certainly, network is variable. It can offer resources, advice, opportunities. And there's some common strategies people think that to do that, like the join the industry events, conference to meet some people, leveraging social media like LinkedIn, and seeking mentorship and maintaining genuine connections. All of these are good, okay, but that's not enough, because just get to know people is very superficial. So today I'm going to challenge you. Okay. So for this slide, basically Howard has covered most of it. First of all, you have to know the current mega wave, and so certainly right now AI is the dominant one. And certainly it's such a big subject. You can identify some niche inside it, which is close to what you are doing. And you have to know your strength in this new trend. And you have to know your weakness in this new trend. And if you feel you need to learn something new, you have to do that. And the important thing is that you have to invest your time and effort in the right place, even for building the network. So, but then in doing just that, I would like to ask one question here. What I observed in my early career is that I noticed that whenever a big company, when they go to they were hired as a new CEO to a company, basically I noticed that they always hire their own CFO. So have you thought about this? Why a new CEO cannot trust the old CEO, which was in that company he joined, or basically CEO almost replace all the like CTO, VP of sales, marketing, stuff like that. So we have to ask what's the reason behind that, because it's related to our career. And here I actually want to offer some lessons from Jesus. Okay, in Matthew chapter 25, verse 21. This is after Jesus gave some investment capital to 3 of his servants. Well, Jesus talked about one boss. He gave the investment capitals to 3 of his servants, and then he left. Then after several years, he comes back, and then the first one has done well. Second one didn't do so well, but was okay. Then the third one not only didn't do anything, and he actually complained about the boss. So this is the reply the boss talked to the first one and the second one. His master replied, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness." To me, this verse is important because it actually answered my previous slide. Why does a boss will use his own people? Because that servant is good and faithful. And in this sentence here, the faithful has been emphasized twice. You have been faithful with a few things, meaning this is not a real test. This is actually a small test. But if you pass this small test, then I will put you in charge of many things. I will give you more responsibilities. Okay. So here, let's try to put what good and faithful means to us in our current situation. Well, basically, we can say good is, you have to be really competent on what you do, which means you need to have good skill in your profession, which is, we all agree that that's necessary. The other thing is more intangible. It's the faithful one. Faithful one. So Jesus says that you have to be faithful to your boss so that people can trust you. People view you as someone they can count on to partner with and know that you are a team player. And you have to be good and faithful on little things or a few things. Meaning, you'd have to do well on every small things which was given to you to complete. So the best place to build your professional network actually is where you work now. Many people think about, today we are talking about building the professional network, which is outside of what I'm doing now. I try to build more links, but actually the most important one is at where you are now. Okay, because that's where you can build your reputation as very competent. You are a problem solver. You deliver things on time. You have been creative. All of that. And then the other thing is that you have to build your reputation as very trustworthy, which means you have been a faithful person. You will basically follow. You have your job. Your job is part of the company's bigger goal, and you do your part well. And people know that you are a man of integrity, many things. My own experience, I started the company with my co-founder. He is 15 years older than me, and we work together, and then we start to know each other's ability in the professional part, and we also know the person. That's why we came out as the co-founders of our company. So that's the best kind of network that you can build. Maybe your boss will not start a company, but he may join the other company. And when he joins, he will look for people he can trust. And those he trusts the most, he know those are competent. He will take you with him or her. Okay, so build the best professional network is at where you are now. So and here, I mean, I would like to emphasize the team player part. If you are a person hard to work with, if you don't have good relationship with your current boss, the reputation may go out that this is a person hard to work with, and that may jeopardize your career. So just remember the focal point I have today is that do well at what you are doing now. So your reputation, the reputation is not only staying with your current boss, your coworkers, your other, the other people in the companies, they may hear something about you. So that's why do well on both the competency part and the trustworthy part. Then you may, we don't know when the opportunities will come, but now, as Howard said, this AI age is an age of change, and an age of change is an age of difficulty, but it's also an age of opportunities. Okay, so Oops. Okay. So that's my point. I also want to keep it short because I want to compensate for sometimes. Yeah. That's what I have to offer now. And if you have any questions, you can put those in the chat box. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, David, for the wonderful points. It's a sound and wise reminder. The best networking start at where you're working right now. But maybe you're thinking, okay, now I'm in between jobs. So what can I do? All right. So I guess a lot of principles, what David shared, still works. Even you're between jobs. Because your interview, that's what I'm going to talk about next, starts now. Okay. So I will do the screen sharing and hopefully you can get something out of this. All right. Okay. Excel at your interview. Well, the trouble with fiction, well, some of you might like fiction. The trouble with fiction is that it makes too much sense. On the other hand, reality never makes sense. This is kind of a thought-provoking quotes. I put it here, and let's figure out a lot of things doesn't make sense to us, but is really so messy it's hard to understand? Maybe not. Let's take a couple of minutes, and dive down to see what's happening. I'm going to try to go through the first part of this talk very fast, and I will explain to you why later you know. Well, look at interview process. Let's say preparation, of course, before the interview starts. Then during the interview, you got to do some presentation, right? After the interview, do some follow up. Well, some bonus tips. Makes sense, right? Preparation, well, before you go to interview, you're interested in any company, if you follow the GPS shared by Howard, okay, you got to research, know the company and know their needs. That's about it, right? Then what's about you is you got to prepare some stories about yourself and practice some common questions. Oh, by the way, you can't go there without practice. That's called rehearsal, right? This is called preparation. And now let's say you are in a scene of being interviewed. Be careful about what I mean by in the scene of being interviewed, because you need to understand in the context of what I'm saying in the beginning is you are being interviewed now. Okay. So say you're being interviewed, you got to dress appropriately, you got to maintain a good body language, right? Very nice. And so, of course, you got to speak clearly, listen actively, and you got to be able to ask smart questions. Oh, by the way, you got to be authentic. Okay, now you're done the interview. You got to do some follow-up. Send a thank you note, show your appreciation, and reflect on what went well and what to improve. Very standard process. We see this as a couple of reminders and bonus tips. Well, see it as a conversation, right? Not interrogation. And know about yourself, know the material well. That's all good. Very good. Now the question I have for myself and for you. Do you like those reminder up front? I did not generate those bullet points. Those are generated by a Gen AI tool today. Okay? That's why I want to read it very fast. If you all want to learn is about the tips and insights, you don't need to talk to a person. You can find it today in a lot of tools today. So I asked myself a question, and you guys should be asking me. Can I offer better advice than AI? What AI didn't tell me, or what AI didn't tell you? Here is the following. Number one, as I warned you, the interview starts now. Every time you have a chance to interact with anyone, whether through written communication, verbal communication, online, in person, remember, that's your interview opportunity. So you have no excuse saying that I am in between jobs. What David said to shine, to do well at what I work doesn't apply. No, it's still applicable. Because in every interaction, you're showing what you can do. And it's showing whether you can do a good job and whether you are trustworthy. All right. So that's very, very important. So what I shared with you before and following applies to every scenario you will be in, including today and including the breakout session you may be attending. Or even after this webinar, you turn around, maybe make a phone call, maybe reach out to your former colleagues, maybe your current colleagues, what and how you could behave. Number one, my first gift for you today is from receiving to giving. You know, this hands up. I'm ready to receive. We come to, every time we think about getting a job, that's what we're thinking. How can I get a job? Right? It's all about me. I'm telling you, if you're a Christian, congratulations, because this should not be foreign to you. If you're still a seeker, I hope this concept will bless you and help you because I have people coming to me, if their attitude toward finding a job totally flipped after they learned this concept. I want you to elevate from how can I get a job to how can I bless my boss? In other words, I'm asking you for every opportunity you may be looking, maybe to the company or maybe to interview. He or she interview you, could be your boss, could be your colleagues. And the company you're interviewing for is the company you're going to work for. How can you bless them? If you're a Christian, you know, this concept is not foreign to you because we are meant to bless people. So this is applicable even in your trying to finding a job. This would totally turn around the misconception that when I did not get a job offer, my value got diminished. And that's totally wrong. When you're looking for a job looking for people, you talk about a match, whether you can provide a value that address people's needs. Let's call value match or mismatch. But if you have this kind of blessing mindset, you go into the interview, you earn a very important aspect here. It's called likable. Look at this beautiful picture. Who don't like to see a smiling face? I don't know whether you are as beautiful as this lady. I know I'm not as handsome as she is, but it doesn't matter. It's the smile, is how you react and how you attend to people's needs make you really likable. And now I ask you to think about, give yourself 30 seconds. Who is the person you like the most? Most likable. Think about the most likable person that you ever met. I guarantee you, is not the most beautiful one, but the one who always care about your needs. You think they are very likable. You really like them because you know why? They care about you. And that's why my first reminder about from receiving to giving will make you likable. Once you're likable, well, I come to interview, I talk to different kinds of interviewees. For those who likable, they got some preference score. And so, but likable alone is not enough. Just like David said, you got to be capable. You don't need to be the one who can use a single finger to lift the elephant, but you got to be able to do something. You got to be able to show your core competence. It's called capable. So ask yourself, what's your capability? Can you do well in the job you're seeking? If not, what can you do about that? Lastly, you got to be able to teachable. Likable is great. Capable is fine, but I'm not going to hire a person who is not teachable because that means there's no future. He or she would just stay where he or she is right now. And as the company grows, that that become a problem because he or she just hard to teach. So we got to be humble like a child, say, okay, now am I able to learn and able to grow? And that's very important reminder. So I'm going to stop the sharing right now here. Is very short gifts for you from receiving to giving. Make sure you're likable and capable. Lastly, teachable. So now we're going to give the stage to John to talk about now, say you are in the company, or how do you grow your career from within or in between jobs? How do you manage and grow your career? John, stage is yours.
Okay. Let me share my PowerPoint.
John, do you need some help?
Let me try one more time. Can you see?
No, I see your screen, a Zoom as a background. That's it.
Oh, okay. Sammy, maybe I need your help. Can you share my slides?
Sure, you need to stop sharing. Yes.
Okay.
And yes, then I can try to share for you. All right, here we go.
Okay, thank you. So next one, please. Okay. Good thing about the last one to speak is a lot of the points has already been covered, so I can be brief. So first point I want to bring up is we are seeing maybe some turmoils in the job market in Silicon Valley now, or even over US, right? But actually, up and down cycles are the norm, I would say, because technology changes all the time. So in Silicon Valley, right, the technology changes all the time, and not only technology changes all the time, the major applications that's driving the business demand actually also changes all the time. So in my career, right, I have seen the demand in semiconductor, the end market go from PC to smartphone to cloud, and then servers, and now going to AI. So actually the semiconductor industry always look for the next major driver, and actually changes all the time. And then actually the business environment and the model and the business model also changes. Companies used to be vertically integrated. That means they do everything themselves. Okay, but actually in the last many years, it changed to outsourcing and specialization. So in my own industry, semiconductor, we go from companies that has big manufacturing facility, right? Big factories, we call fabs, that go into fabless. And then the economy go into the sharing economy. You got the Uber, the Airbnb, and all this. So all these changes, and definitely, as some of us mentioned already, right? AI is going to change not just the computer companies, the software companies. It's going to change other business also besides technology. So this is actually a crisis for some people, because you'll be wondering whether you're going to lose your job, or what you learn may not apply anymore. But at the same time, it's an opportunity, because the business changes actually a lot of times they all bring up new opportunities, and also business growth. So so I think the important mindset is to change the mindset, to accept change as a fact of life, and then you learn and adapt and to seize the new opportunities. So I'm going to share my personal story and experience. I started my career as a process engineer, which means actually I work in the semiconductor factory to develop processes, manufacturing processes. Okay. And actually, when I started my career in the 80s, you can start to see this going to decline in US. So so actually after many years, I look back at myself, I look back at my friends, who are in this field. Actually, we all do very well, because actually the change from fab to fabless in US actually unleashed a lot of talent and unleash a lot of new companies. So actually, all these new companies create a lot of new opportunities. So myself, I started a fabless company myself. Okay, and then my friends, some of them they moved to Taiwan, they joined TSMC, they joined UMC, so they have successful career. But most of them they stay in the valley, so they just change from a process engineer into design engineer. They change into a business. They manage business. They all this. So with all these changes, they all have a very good career. So this is something that I want to bring up: is that change can be alarming, but at the same time, change brings opportunities. So you need to be able to learn and adapt and to seize the new opportunities. So next slide, please. But one thing that's very important is during change, we all have anxiety. We probably all feel anxious, feel stressed out. So I think being Christians, I hope most of us here are Christians. I think it's very important to have a good relationship with God, because my most favorite Bible verse is Philippians chapter 4, 6-7. Talk about do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your request to God. And what does God give us? God gives us the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. So at times of turmoil, at times of stress, it's important that we have the peace, strength, and guidance from God amid all this turmoil. So I encourage all of us here that we have a quality time with God, that you have a daily quiet time, and be thankful to God. Always be reminded about God's unchanging love. So God's unchanging love is the constant in this world of change. So and also about, don't just think about the negative side. Even today you are in between jobs. Don't just think about negative. Think about the many blessings that God has given you in your life, now and in the past. And then ask for wisdom and guidance. Okay. Next slide, please. So David already mentioned, I think this is important to repeat this point, that you need to do, if you're working today, you have a job, do the best at your job and your workplace. Constantly look for improvement at your job, and then have a good relationship with your boss and coworkers. David mentioned, right? Your reputation is very important. Mm-hmm. And actually to build people network, not only do your job well, but also be helpful, be a helpful colleague. This is a way that you connect with people at work, and then be proactive to expand your capabilities. Maybe you can lead change too, because in your business, in the company you're at, if you're already a good worker and the company is thinking about changing, maybe adapting some changes using AI or this, if you start to learn about this, maybe you can even lead the change. Because a lot of times companies, they may hire some expert from outside, but a lot of times they look at their own people to see people that they can already trust. How can they lead change? So if you are a good worker and you're willing to learn, willing to proactive to adapt, maybe actually this is your opportunity even for advancement. And Howard mentioned about the look at the company performance, like which company has the highest value, and those can pick high salary. So it's important that you not just focus on your job, but you keep your eyes open. Look at your company's earnings, your company's situation, whether your company is doing well, the department is doing well. What's the mega trend for the industry, all this? Because you don't want to be caught with surprise. If a company is not doing well, you won't be surprised that one day maybe the whole department got canned, and then you lay off, no matter how good a worker you are. So and on the positive side, if you know that actually this company is doing very well, and this is the field you want to be in, the industry trend is good, and there's good opportunity, job opportunity there, you may want to move over. So this is something that I think you need to keep in mind. So I encourage you to take some time to do regular reflections on your job situation and to talk to industry experts. Don't just depend on the media. Media has a lot of fake news. a lot of not good analysis, because almost 10 years ago, someone said, "Oh, semiconductor industry is a sunset industry because we're going through one of the down cycle." So they're saying it's a sunset industry, but this is totally nonsense, right? At that time, I say, okay, we are just going through one of the down cycle. So you need to talk to people who really know about the industry. Some of the people at Cloud are very experienced people, and then plan your career and take the action. Okay, next one, please. But do prepare for the rainy day. I think it's important that you build some financial cushion. The other day, I learned a new term. There's a term that someone is a Henry. Henry is Henry. Actually, it stands for high earner, not rich yet. I think in the valleys, sometimes we get paid very well, but then we don't save a lot of money. There's a lot of Henry around. Okay, it's not that you need to be rich, but I think you need to save enough money to last at least a few months in case something happened to your job. Okay, and it's important, like David already mentioned about networking. So it's important to keep your professional network active. Okay, next slide, please. So in case today you are in between jobs, I think it's very important to have the right mindset. Don't be bitter with God or with people, with your previous boss. Why you got laid off? All this. It's important to get peace and strength from God to deal with the hardship, and make good use of your time. Keep yourself busy. Have an active daily routine. Start your day with a quiet time with God. You still do physical exercise. Then you do your job search. You network people, and you study and learn new things, or even take a short course. Maybe you can do some volunteer work with extra time, or if there's some part-time job that you can do. And actually, now is a good time, since you have more time on your hands, right, to take the time to think, to reflect, and to plan your career moves, whether you want to stay with your current career field or even change your career. I think now is time to think about this. But I think that's very important. And then, at the end, last slide, please. It's important to have a long-term perspective. So you want to make sure that no matter you're working now or you're in between jobs, take good care of your health, both your physical, emotional, and spiritual, and take good care of your family. And just like David shared with us, right, be a good steward of what God gives you. Do your best, no matter at your work or even if you are in between jobs. Embrace lifelong learning and adaptation, and walk with God, because in all these changes, God is the only thing that won't change. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, John. I think in the past about 15 minutes, we went through a 4 steps process of the journey that most of us will encounter. And I hope you find that helpful. And so, Ling, do you have any questions that you would like us to answer? Of course, you got privilege and depend on the time we have.
Yeah, I think the discussion, the presentation is so fascinating. I think the audience are just trying to absorb all those. So I don't really have a lot of questions coming out from the chat room. So my personal question, probably I would just get it started, is how do the mentors here today, how do you find your calling? Because you guys have been through many careers, changes, up and downs. What is the one aha moment that you know this is the calling that God gives you and to pursue?
That was such an excellent question. I'm going to start from alphabetical matter order. So, David, would you mind getting started?
Calling. Basically, I do what God give me the opportunities. So my ministry is not only with the Ed Cloud. I'm also a board member of the Harvest Seminary, and I work with Yuan Zhimin on the China Soul. their production. So basically, I just take the opportunities that God gave to me. Yeah, and then I found it's a blessing when God give me those opportunities to help people. Like I know that the videos from China Seoul 神州传播公司, it has affected many people. So I just count my blessings that and when Dr. Wu Bingwei approached me about this at clothing, and I felt that it's very good. That's also compatible with what I would like to do. So I joined the ad cloud. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, David. And Howard?
So your question would be,
How do you find your calling?
yeah, I think you should have a good relationship with the Lord Jesus. I would say that you have a very intimate relationship in order to know the calling from the Lord in your marketplace. No matter you do.
So excuse me, Howard, if you don't mind, Ling would like to know, how do you find your aha moment?
How do I find a what?
Your aha moment. You find, oh, that's my calling. How do you find it? To you, yourself.
Myself, I think
Yes.
through the morning devotion most of the time, and through my prayer with the Lord.
Okay, thank you. So,
Thank
John,
you.
you have a specific aha moment they would like to share? I know sometimes maybe private, but if you're comfortable.
I'm not quite sure about the question, but is it about how I find my vocation? Like I'm in semiconductor industry, right? Is that
Yes.
how I find this, my career calling?
Ling, want to clarify?
If that's
Yeah, do you
okay.
think that's your calling for your?
Yeah, it's actually God's grace because I studied electrical engineering, but actually I was not sure I want to be an engineer. But then, and I became a Christian, and I prayed about this, and God gave me a summer job at Intel, and I found out, wow, this is so interesting, so fascinating, and then this is it. So I really think actually, because I was a foreign student at that time, so this summer job actually is not easy. So I think it's really God's provision. So since then there's no return. I work in this industry for almost 40 years, and I enjoy every moment. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, so I probably misunderstood Lynn's question. Okay, and about my career, actually that's related to the point I mentioned, that to detect the mega trend. When in my first job, I read a lot of Electronic Times, EDN, all those magazines, newspapers in the industry. And I noticed the trend of the EDA, electronic design automation. I saw a lot of news about mental graphics, Valley Logic, DMV. The other one is Daisy. So I noticed that the newspaper actually almost have a section for those EDA companies every week. So once I noticed that, I also took a class in the school, and then I start to change my job from hardware design into the software design. So that became the EDA, and I enjoy it very, very much. Okay, so I hope that answered your question.
That's awesome.
One
So
fun factor, I also have electrical engineering background, so it's just great to hear you talk about this.
sounds good. So Ling, do you have any specific question you want to address, or you want to continue to answer your question? Go ahead.
There is one question from the chat room. We have a friend who wants to ask, this question is specific to Howard, to comment on how do you look or comment on those traditional infrastructure company like Cisco, Juniper, or even AT&T service provider. I think the question asks really about the future of those companies and whether there's a great potential for people working in those industries, given that the AI is now taking over everything. So this question is for Howard, but other mentors feel free to comment on after that.
The question would be traditional infrastructure company, right? The Cisco, the profit margin is about 59% gross profit margin. Juniper Network, okay, it delists already. I don't have the inside of their gross profit margin. AT&T is about 57. So this is all the platform traditional infrastructure company. They have moderate pay. If they upgraded with AI renovation, I would say it's potential. Usually the AI renovation would be the first wave would be AI chip, right? NVIDIA, AMD, ARM, right? The second wave would be retailer AIoT, as I just mentioned, that will grow 6 times in 10 years. Then empower to infrastructure, AT&T, Cisco, Juniper Network. So back to your question here, if this traditional infrastructure company can be upgraded with AI, I think that will prevail, okay, and create more job on this infrastructure, okay.
Thank you, Howard. I would just add 2 cents here. I just did an exercise. If you listen to my sharing, I want to test whether I'm adding value in the on top of AI. In response to Ling's comment about is AI taking over everything? Well, you can use AI to give you a lot of bullet points. And then you build things on top of that. I hope my sharing was a live demonstration of that. So now it's for you to judge whether I have successfully added value to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my first slide was also from AI. Yeah.
We have another question coming in specific to Shenming. What do you recommend as job search and career transition strategies to mid-career versus young professionals in today's job market and AI era?
So very good question, Ling. Let me check my understanding here. When you say mid-career versus young professional, do you think the question is more about comparison, or do you think the question want me to cover both?
Could a question asking person clarify that directly? Because I'm just reading that.
Okay. Well, we're waiting for clarification. I don't know whether John, you want to add any more points so far based on the discussion so far?
Me? No.
Yeah.
Shenming, go ahead.
Sure. Sounds good. So I would talk about in general, and while waiting for the clarification, the best strategy I would see as what David said. Do well at what you're working on. In fact, I've been helping some career changer, switcher, as well as young professionals to launch or relaunch their career. And my advice to them is do not sit there preparing your resume alone. Don't. You got to find out and start doing project with others. So because that strategy gives you 2 benefits. Number 1, you're sharpening your skills. You're doing something useful, sharpening your skill. Even the jobs for free or volunteer, it doesn't matter. That's use your professional skill, find opportunity to use it. Number two, and then you are creating an ecosystem or a kind of colleague, even though without pay, doesn't matter. You're creating, there's a way for your reputation to be built. For example, there's an open source community, right? If you're a software engineer, for example, I know it's hard to find a job today as an entry level software engineer for some. So if there's some open source project, maybe there's an opportunity to think about it. What can you help? And there's a time and place for you to build your brand. Again, what I talk about the interviewing strategy is called branding strategy for yourself. Make yourself likable, capable, and teachable. That's the best brand I can find. All right. I hope this will work. And it doesn't matter is AI era or not, or post AI era. The same principle should apply. And I hope my vivid demonstration today give you some hope. Yes, you can add value on top of AI.
We do have some clarification coming in. Want to ask for a mid-career, mid-senior level by experience and 50 plus. But I'm sure there other people wants to know what happens to the young people too. You know, the mid people probably more career change or impact. The young will be challenge of finding the job with so many junior level of job being replaced or consolidated.
I'll let David and John and Howard, if you guys have a question about 50 plus, especially mid plus, I know you got some wisdom. It can help them.
Yeah. Maybe let me share some examples I have seen. Okay, some of my friends. I mentioned about like the semiconductor industry. So if you are actually in a job in a company that you're doing a good job, and the company is still doing pretty well, then I think actually build on what you have, right? Because you already have the trust, of your colleagues, your trust of your boss, and even the company. You have built up a career, your reputation. So then you look for how you can add value. Let's say AI. Can you lead some changes? Using a better use of AI to enhance. And think about those because I have friends actually. I mentioned about the semiconductor industry going from having a big factories to a fabless, right? So I have friends actually. They used to manage the factory, and the factories closed down, but they didn't get laid off because they become like the director of quality. They become other management position. Even they actually manage design project because so actually those things you can always learn. My career, right? I started from doing courses, then I started design house and all this. So I have to learn too. So don't just think about jumping because that's a big change. So if you are in a company that still has doing well, that may be transforming, then try to take advantage of what you have already built up, but be willing to add value by learning new things. That would be my input. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think what John said is quite right. And if you are at this age, I assume you have some visibility in the company. And so actually, this might be a good opportunity that you become an architect type of person, which is to design the architect to help the company transition into the AI assisted operating company. So, as I said, AI brings difficulties. It also brings opportunities. So remember that, and then try to think and find out what's the opportunities you have there with the AI, which is not going away. Okay, yeah, that's my comment.
I chip in my 2 cents. That related to your interests and strengths, nothing to do with your age. Okay, nothing to do with your age. It's your mentality. Again, your interest and your age. My industry is investment industry. I only do one thing 40 years in this country, asset allocation. I enjoy every moment of that. The older I am, the more energetic I have in my industry. You can have AI investing. I don't trust that. So that depends your mentality. I'm still energetic and passionate as I was young 40 years ago. Thank you.
If I can add one more thing, is for you specifically, learn the supervising AI skill. Just like when the automobile was invented, what you learn, what you should be working on is not try to run faster than the car. What you try to do is try to steer the car. So I know today I have people who have a friend who is driving Tesla, and now he admit his driving skill deteriorate because by using autonomous driving, but his supervising skill improves. So I also recommend you to get yourself exposed to the AI tools and learn to be a better AI supervisor. Congratulations, you already land yourself a new job.
Well, wonderful discussion. We will have the continued conversation after we break out in the breakout room. So if you feel like you still have questions, you still have time to ask that. Could we bring up a few closing slides so that we'll wrap up the conversation here so people can go into the breakout rooms?
So are we coming back after the breakout room?
Basically, the schedule is we'll have a few slides talking about EMBA
Okay, sure.
and partnership, and then we'll do a closing prayer. And then people will go on to their breakout room of choice, and then we don't have to come back. So because it's the time zone, people may have late night. So once we break out into breakout room, feel free to stay there for the arranged time is about 25 minutes, but it really sometimes goes longer. Depends on the conversation. Okay. Great.
Okay. Thank you.
So I will have a few minutes just to wrap that up by sharing some of the wonderful things that at Cloud Ministry is doing. We have a program called EMBA. It's not a traditional EMBA. It really stands for 4 different tracks that focusing on different aspects of the career choice. So you can read that E stands for entrepreneurship and life. And M is Malacantpreneur, basically that's more mission focused. And then business is for people basically in general career track rather than in the ministry or startup. And then the A is apostolic leadership. Those are in the different group. Feel free to scan, reach out to the group to ask for more information. We also have monthly events that please take a screenshot or scan that QR code so you'll be directed to get more information. Next slide, please. And that's for the next event on September 27. Mark your calendar. We have a wonderful topic about from challenges to clarity. Again, a very IT-focused leader that will share his experience and wisdom with us. Take a screenshot, mark your calendar. Next slide, please. I would like to invite all of you to partner with us in supporting @Cloud, a nonprofit Christian-based ministry. Your donations help us to build our infrastructure, reach more people, and support venue rentals. All of this make this ministry possible. Our amazing volunteers work hard to create a meaningful impact in the global marketplace, and your generosity plays a vital role in this mission. There are 3 ways to give: check, PayPal, and Zelle. Please take a screenshot, and we also have a link at the end where you can connect with us directly. Thank you for your support and generosity. Okay, feel free to take a screenshot. And this is the wonderful slide you want to screenshot if you are not connected with the ministry already. To receive the latest news from this ministry, including today's recordings. We have so many wonderful slides shared by the mentors. Please screenshot now for those social media groups info. Join the Line group and WeChat group, scan the QR code to join the mailing list, and watch the YouTube replay. And also feel free to share with your friends and your network to let those wonderful teaching to bless your community. Okay, next slide. All right, so Just to a little bit kind of structure to get the breakout room started. Once you join the breakout room, you don't have to come back, but we will have a closing prayer before we let you go into the breakout room. What we will do in breakout room, do a little bit self-introduction with your mentors and people in that room, and then talk about one key takeaway from today. And also, if there are any further questions in that small environment, feel free to enjoy the time and ask and fellowship and make new friends. With that, we will invite David. Could you close us for today's event and bless all of us?
Thank you. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you to have this time for us today. May your spirit be with us and open our eyes, our heart, our mind. Lord, let everyone who learned from this session has a new mindset, knowing that they have the opportunities in this new age. But may you open their ears so they can hear your advice. That's the most important thing to every one of us. Lord, we thank you and we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.